ABC 3340 News at 6 o'clock that starts now.
Live, streaming, and on the ABC 3340 app. This is ABC 3340 News at 6.
State lawmakers are working to give parents more options when it comes to choosing where their child learns. The school choice bill, dubbed the Choose Act, was outlined as a priority for Governor Kay Ivey during her State of the State address. Good evening, I'm Brenda Ledun.
And I'm Stephen Quinn. Now, the legislation would require the state to make a minimum of $100 million available each year for education savings accounts. As ABC 3340's Aaron Wise explains, that's drawing concern from Democrats, while others are determined to push the bill forward.
Former teacher Terry Lathan supports the Choose Act.
It's about a parent's choice with their dollars that we all pitch in. Government does not make money, it disseminates money.
Others believe the bill will have a positive impact on public schools.
There is compelling evidence that public school students experience modest test score gains after private school choice programs are introduced or expanded in some of these states. And so out of 29 studies, 26 showed positive effects.
Several education organizations were still concerned with academic accountability, like not requiring participating students take state standardized assessments.
If we don't have a measure to say they publicly report, at least publicly report your scores, how do we compete?
Students will be required to take assessments that align with their school's curriculum or national test. The minimum $100 million price tag for the program is a sticking point for House Democrats in terms of its impact on future grocery tax reductions. Another 1-cent reduction is not likely to happen this year because of a lack of estimated growth in the Education Trust Fund.
School vouchers that have been proposed by the governor will also come out of the Education Trust Fund. And that would make further reductions to the grocery tax nearly impossible.
The governor's education policy advisor says no money will come directly from the Education Trust Fund. Rather, money from sales and use tax will be distributed into the Choose Act fund at the Department of Revenue. Having a funding cap for the program is also a point of contention. However, the bill's sponsor, Senator Arthur Orr, says he anticipates to introduce a substitute bill that provides a funding cap as well as a trigger mechanism for any future growth of program funds. In Montgomery, Aaron Wise, ABC 3340 News.
Lawmakers did not take any action on this bill today. It remains in committee.
Another bill that we are watching very closely is being dubbed by some as the Second Chance Act. This bill cleared committee today and will go to the House for consideration. Its purpose is to reduce the state's aging prison population, but is limited in scope. If adopted, it would allow those convicted prior to 2000 and sentenced to life without parole due to sentencing escalators a chance to be resentenced. This would not apply to anyone convicted for murder or rape. The bill also has a date of October 1st of 2029.
The woman accused of receiving thousands of dollars in taxpayer money meant for a youth baseball team plans to plead guilty in federal court. Barry Johnson-Kindle worked for State Representative John Rogers and was romantically linked to the Youth Baseball League's founder, Fred Plump. Prosecutors say half of the money paid to the Baseball League was kicked back to Johnson-Kindle and state lawmaker John Rogers. Both Rogers and Plump, who himself was also a former representative before resigning, are also charged in this case. Johnson-Kindle will plead guilty to conspiracy, wire fraud, and obstruction of justice. The plea agreement also requires her to repay nearly $200,000 to the Jefferson County Community Service Fund and nearly $50,000 to the IRS. She will be sentenced February 26. As for Rogers, he's scheduled to be arraigned tomorrow in federal court. His trial is set for June 3rd.
Also new at 6, a garbage truck stolen in Birmingham has been found. Now police are looking for the person responsible. Whoever took it stole it from a parking lot earlier this week along Avenue W in Birmingham. Police tell us they found it hours later across town at the intersection of Henry Street and Dora Avenue. Anyone with any information on the theft is asked to contact Birmingham police. We will soon know more details about the arrests made for a deadly hit and run in Pell City. Rebecca Poe was killed in November of 2022 while confronting people who were trying to steal her family's car. So far, Pell City police are only telling us 2 people were arrested. There is a scheduled news conference Thursday at 1 o'clock.
Tarrant police now are asking for help finding the person responsible for a deadly crash. It happened in December along Pinson Valley Parkway. Investigators say Mark Thomas Bonner was driving south when he approached a truck driving the wrong way. Bonner swerved to avoid a head-on collision, and his vehicle ended up overturning into a ravine. Bonner died there at the scene. As for the other truck, it never stopped. Tarrant police ask anyone who may have witnessed this crash or have any information about the driver to come forward. Also new at 6, a Blount County jury found Raymond Putman guilty of sexually abusing his 2 children for more than a decade. During the trial, it was revealed the 64-year-old began sexually abusing his first child at the age of 12, his second child when she was just 8. Putman is expected to be sentenced March 21st.
Something big could be in store in the near future for the city of Northport. Monday, the council will meet to decide if they will enter a partnership with the development group to expand the original water park vision to a water resort. ABC 3340's Mary Barron is in Northport right now with more on this new proposal. Mary?
Brenda, the size of the park could increase by 85 acres. Now, what started as a small water park concept could now include a beach club and hotels. Now, if the council does decide to move forward with the private-public partnership with University Beach LLC, the developing company will hold all ownership of the water park and split the sales and lodging taxes with Northport. Under the proposed agreement, Northport would be responsible for 75% of the cost for public improvements. Council President Jeff Hogg says the agreement must meet certain qualifications for him to move forward.
Does this private-public partnership, does it promote economic development to the city? Number 2, does it increase your tax revenue? And also, number 3, one of the more important things, does it improve the quality of life for your citizens?
Now, residents in Northport say they are in favor of a water park, but not one of this size. They are also hesitant of the location that's off of Highway 82. Live in Northport, Mary Barron, ABC 3340 News.
And we want to hear your thoughts on this story. Are you in favor of the city of Northport moving forward with a water resort instead of a water park? You can scan the QR code on your screen to access the poll question in this story on our website, abc3340.com.
The historic 4th Avenue district is one of the only surviving black business districts in the Southeast, still operating with a majority black-owned businesses. It still faces many challenges. ABC 3340's Olivia Gauthier spoke with owners there today. Olivia, what did they say about the state of their businesses?
Stephen, their goal is not only to run a successful business, but to educate those who visit the area. According to the Birmingham Business Alliance in the Birmingham Hoover area, there are only 269 black-owned businesses that have been operating for more than 16 years. That's opposed to almost 6,000 white-owned businesses. Operating for just over a decade, Peggy Logan, owner of historic 4th Avenue Shirts, is a part of one of the only surviving black business districts in the Southeast.
I think that makes, the world better when you can experience other people's cultures and the way you live. And I love it. I just love that we have this street, and I hope it sustains itself.
The Birmingham Business Alliance tells me they are partnering with the city of Birmingham to help increase black business ownership in the region, as well as help businesses scale and grow in jobs and revenue.
Still ahead on the news at 6, why the city of Childersburg says raising the sales tax is key to public safety.
And coming up later in sports, it's another big home game for the Auburn Tigers. Johnny Condon previews the showdown with 11th ranked South Carolina.
And another sunny day today. How long will this weather hold out? Chief Meteorologist James Spann has the answer. Still ahead.
The city of Childersburg is discussing raising the sales tax from 9 cents to 10. City leaders say the extra penny would go towards benefits for first responders. Right now, it's unclear what the proposed insurance package would look like for single and family coverage, but details are also being ironed out on if it would just cover fire and police or all city employees. We're told the city is exploring the possibility of covering 80 to 85% of the insurance package. ABC 3340's Valerie Bell spoke with some who say this increase is necessary, but others who say they don't support it.
For the Childersburg Fire Department, keeping staff hasn't been easy.
Doing a study over 5 years, we've lost 34 employees, and we feel like that's an epidemic. And most of those are paramedics, and most of our calls are EMS calls.
Chief Shane Phillips believes better insurance coverage offered by the city could change that.
We have a lot to offer here, but when they come here and all their salary goes to insurance benefits, I mean, it's out the window and people start looking. You can't fault them, they have families.
Captain Will Windsor agrees.
It'd be less of a burden because, as we all know, money's tight everywhere.
Him and his wife have a baby on the way.
Obviously, healthcare has been a thought of my mind, so family coverage would help a lot.
Councilman Brandon Robinson telling us in a statement, quote, "I care deeply for our first responders, but also have to keep in mind what is best for our citizens in Childersburg. For that reason, he's currently against it, citing the impact on local businesses and those that live here."
I believe that they're high enough as it is.
9 cents is killing everybody, so raising it up another penny, people don't think a penny is a lot, but it really is.
Robert Walker says every penny adds up.
I gotta go to these stores spending $30, $40 a day while I'm on disability, and it's really killing people that is on lower income.
The owner of Heaven's Gold Cakes tells us she's not in favor. The 13-year-old bakery says places like theirs are already struggling to stay afloat. Ronnie's Barbershop doesn't charge sales tax since it's service-based. Ronnie Forbes did weigh in.
Nobody enjoys tax increases. You know, I know that for myself, I've had to increase in prices this year just due to inflation.
Forbes says he's all for it, but only if the money is accounted for and goes towards the first responders. If it's mixed into the general fund, he's not okay with it.
I want to see those people who are working to benefit us be increased by it. That's important to me.
In Childersburg, Valerie Bell, ABC 3340 News.
Whether you are for the sales tax increase or not, the city wants your voice to be heard. A public hearing is set for 5 p.m. at City Hall on February 20th and March 5th. We have more details on our website on the process after those public hearings and when a vote could take place.
If you missed Tuesday night's meeting in Jefferson County, there'll be another one tomorrow. County leaders are hosting a town hall to discuss how the refinancing of its sewer bond debt impacts the community. It'll be at Boutwell Auditorium from 5:30 to 7:30. The city of Mountain Brook will soon be replacing old sanitary sewers. This will lead to the intersection of Euclid Avenue and Dan Watkins Drive being closed for several weeks. This all starts February 26th. Now we're told parking will also not be allowed along Dan Watkins Drive.
And you're looking at video right now of an Ash Wednesday service today at Our Lady of Sorrows Catholic Church in Homewood. For Western churches, Ash Wednesday is the first day of Lent. Lent is a 40-day period of prayer and fasting that leads up to Easter. And during Ash Wednesday services, Christians get marked with ash on their foreheads. Many Christians give up simple pleasures like candy or alcohol during Lent as a modern form of fasting.
Now, the ABC 3340 Sports Desk with Jeff Spiegel.
The news became official today. Kalen DeBoer has retained and promoted a couple of Nick Saban assistants. D-line coach Freddie Roach adds associate head coach to his title, and running backs coach Robert Gillespie is also an assistant head coach. The Auburn Tigers would like to add SEC champions to their resume, but there's work to do first. 11th ranked South Carolina is in town tonight. Johnny Condon is covering that game for you.
Jeff, the Auburn Tigers are once again in action this evening inside Neville Arena, this time taking on South Carolina. And Tigers head coach Bruce Pearl knows if his team has any grand visions of winning the conference, tonight is a must-win.
We've been talking all season long about being in position and being in position, and that's where we find ourselves in. If we want to win the championship, we have to beat South Carolina. It's pretty simple. Already being a game behind them, 2 games behind them with 6 then to go would be something I don't think we would be able to overcome.
And as for the first place Gamecocks, it's a tad remarkable South Carolina is even in this position. And this week, speaking with reporters, Bruce Pearl expressed his admiration for second-year Gamecocks head coach Lamont Paris.
It would be hard to think of anybody else that would be the coach of the year in our league, in the sense that he was picked last, and they're currently first or tied for first with Alabama. He and his staff have done a tremendous job of rebuilding and putting together a really, really competitive roster.
Jeff, it's Auburn and South Carolina in maybe the biggest regular season game of the year for the Tigers. Tip-off set for 7:30 p.m. But for now, inside Neville Arena in Auburn, I'm Johnny Condon, ABC 3340 Sports.
Well, this will be fun. Hoover and Thompson will play for a spot in the Final Four. That's going to happen Tuesday in Huntsville. The Hoover Bucks, ranked 3rd in 7A, beat Austin in the Northwest semis at Wallace State. Austin Dudley draining the 3 there, and then Salim London with a strong move to the hole. And now the Bucks running after the blocked shot. Seneca Robinson, the touchdown pass to Elijah Thomas, and Hoover wins at 65-49. The Thompson Warriors grounded the James Clemens Jets in the other semifinal. Jay Green drives to the rim for 2 of his 11 points. The Warriors only led by 4 after the third quarter, but they outscored the Jets 19-3 in the fourth. Messiah Robinson with a behind-the-back pass to Colvin Landrew. Landrew led the way with 19, and Jared Smith hit a couple of big threes as Thompson cruises 63-43. On the girls' side, Hoover is hunting for a 4th straight 7A title. Hoover took care of James Clemens in the 7A girls' Northwest semis. Chloe Ford will get the easy 2. She led the Bucks with 23 points on 10 of 13 shooting. Hoover shot 51% for the game. Cameron Lee knocks down a tray, and Aaliyah Blanchard will get the friendly roll, and the Bucks roll 52-40, headed to their 10th straight regional final. The other girls' semi had 3rd-ranked Vestavia Hills taking on number 1 Bob Jones. Tight game all the way through. Caroline Layden will knock down the 3 for the Rebs. Sarah Gordon led the Rebels with 19, but the Patriots won the 4th quarter and come back to get the win. Jill Gaylord's shot at the buzzer won't fall, and Vestavia loses 40-37. Still a great run for the Rebs. And tonight, highlights from Auburn, South Carolina with Johnny Condon, and Sanford, a big ball game against Western Carolina as well.
It's a ball night.
It is.
Hard-working man right there.
Yes.
Never a dull moment this time of the year. Weather nice and quiet today. We basically could take the day off. Even Stephen Quinn could forecast this weather.
Don't give me too much credit, James.
It's a pretty simple forecast here in the short term. This is a live look at our sky cam coming from Gadsden. Down below that is the Broad Street Bridge over the Coosa River. So we've got temperatures around 60 across the state. Birmingham, Montgomery 60, Huntsville 58. Bottom line is, if you like the weather today, you'll like the weather tomorrow. Basically a carbon copy of today, but then some changes coming up about the time the weekend arrives. Still dry air in place, a few high cirrus clouds floating by today, but again, we'll be in good shape through the daytime hours on Friday. Then we bring in the chance of light rain Friday night. The key word here is light. Rain amounts will likely be under 1/4 of an inch. No thunder, no severe weather, no heavy rain, and the rain should end early in the day Saturday. However, Saturday will be windy and sharply colder with lingering clouds. Will likely stay in the 40s all day, and by early Sunday morning, lows in the upper 20s. But this will be a short-term shot of colder air. We bounce right back in the 60s by early next week. Tonight, the sky clear, lows tomorrow morning around 40. We'll probably see some 30s for the colder pockets. Looking ahead to the next weather maker, that's that cold front coming in Friday night. The day Friday should be dry, and then Friday night, a band of light rain pushing down into North Alabama. Again, limited moisture. The air is stable. No thunder, no lightning, just some light rain. And then by about daybreak Saturday, the bulk of that light rain should be down to the south. This is Saturday morning at 6 o'clock. And the day will be windy, colder, will be in the 40s all day. And the clouds will likely linger. This is 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon. The front front down in South Alabama. The clearing begins across the Tennessee Valley. We'll see clearing Saturday night, and by Sunday, we'll see sunshine back in full force. Looking out in the longer range toward the end of this month, we see no sign of any bitterly cold Arctic air. This is the outlook for the 22nd through the 28th. Temperatures will likely be above average, all the orange and red on this map. Now, understand, we can see some pretty sharp cold snaps during the month of March. In fact, we've had big snow in March, but again, for the rest of this month, things look relatively quiet, with any cold shots coming in here being relatively brief. Tonight, the sky clear, lows averaging between 35 and 40 degrees. Tomorrow, a beautiful day, much like today. Lots of sunshine, the high 66. Friday, the day dry, then a chance of light rain. Friday night, ending early Saturday. The high Friday 67, but much colder Saturday, the high 46. Sunday morning will be in the upper 20s to start the day. The day will be sunny, the high 54, then right back in the 60s for much of next week. Catch my forecast every day on great radio stations around the state, including in Birmingham, 98.7 KISS. ABC 3340 News at 6 o'clock continues in minutes. Stay with us.
Coming back on the air with breaking news now out of Chilton County, and this is what it looks like on I-65 just south of Clanton, a parking lot right now. This is due to a major accident. The interstate now shut down since just before 5 o'clock. Delays, best we can tell, extend back more than 3 miles, and there are multiple accidents reported within those delays. ALDOT asking people to avoid that area if at all possible. But again, I-65 southbound shut down. People are being told to turn around if possible.
I'll keep you posted on that, and that's all the time we have for the news at 6.
The National Dish has your next news tonight at 9. We'll be back for the news at 10 o'clock.